welcome to another guitar channel. Another guitar channel is a channel for all those guitarists who cannot play on an instrument but they love to turn the knobs. No, it's not you. But sometimes we're gonna interview people who can play on the guitar, and today we got Aziz. Aziz is well known from being a guitarist for Simply Red Asia. You were working with Paul Weller, yes?
So many bands, Stone Roses
as well.
Yeah, a few different.
Are you still playing like in those kind of huge bands, or you just chilled out at the moment?
No, not at all. I think I stopped maybe about 15-20 years ago, just because I write music, and I just wanted to write my own music and write songs for other people. I think the last thing I did for somebody else in that way, there were two artists. One was Stephen Wilson from Porcupine Tree, and that was on that tour, Grace for Drowning, but that only proved to me that session playing isn't for me. I'm a composer, writer. I like my time, and also I don't like being told what to do. And I think the other thing was Donovan, the folk artist, 60s, working with Donovan, but that was a favour for a friend who their bass player dropped out on this tour, UK tour, and the agent, good friend of mine, passed away sadly. He asked me to play bass, if I could play bass for him, and I said, well, yeah, I was to help.
Okay, but going back in the history of your playing, how did you start playing? Why the guitar, came to your life? Where was it? Because I was on one of those gigs you were doing on the shows, and I remember you said that when you told your dad that you're gonna play the guitar, he was like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? He's gonna go into all these sex, drugs and rock and roll things.
Yeah, he did. Why
the guitar?
Well, the main reason is the guitar for me was like a symbol of rebellion, of rock and roll, exactly what it is, a rock and roll symbol. And I didn't have that freedom of expression in the culture that I'm from, which is a Pakistani Muslim culture, so religion and culture. And for me, it was quite imposing. Didn't allow me any freedom of expression in my terms, being born in the United Kingdom, and I needed something. And first of all, when I saw the guitar, it was like, wow, silver strings and the sound, and I just fell in love with the instrument. But then the other side was, because I'm generally not a loud person, a quiet person, but the guitar can be loud. If I can feel like Anthrax, Megadeth.
So you found your alter ego within the guitar, something like that?
To begin with, I was hiding behind it, but it can be anything you want it to be, and it can be loud, and I found it a great tool to express myself, allow to release freedom in it. And then I just love music. I just thought music is the most mysterious and powerful thing in the world. And I found that the guitar took me places, and I met friends like yourself. I meet new people all the time from different countries.
Thank you all. Just moving into quiet time now until 3 o'clock, please.
It's not quiet
at all. Quiet time until 3 o'clock.
It's not quiet.
Thanks once again.
As we were saying, quiet time, so we have to respect. Yeah. As we were saying, we can't play guitar quietly. So it was just that. The guitar was just a freedom, a release for me, and it just took me places, made friends around the world, and enemies too. But what a universal thing music is, and what a universal instrument the guitar is in a way. And I never stopped because I just kept exploring it.
But just because you said that you got this Muslim, Pakistani roots and everything, was it hard for you to start? Did you need to, go to work to buy yourself your guitar?
Well, I was at school. So I was 7 years old.
7 years old when you started?
8,
all this stuff?
No. 8 years old when I started playing guitar. 7.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's early.
I got a £5 guitar. It cost £5 sterling, and that's where it began. So-
But that was bought by your,
I had to
by
get
your parents.
my parents bought me that guitar for my birthday.
Not from your pocket money or something.
So
like that.
even though they were against it, they were still supportive.
Did
which
they
is
send you
nice.
for any lessons, or did you
No,
need?
I can't afford lessons. Very poor family, working class family. We come from nothing really, and my father, he did well, as in he supported. We're 6 children, so he supported
Lots
us.
of kids,
Well, but in a working class kind of environment. So all he could do was. And that money, I knew it was a lot of money from his wage. So really, I wouldn't ask for anything else. So, I didn't. I just taught myself. So what you do is, you stick a vinyl, in those days, vinyl, cassette, listen to the music, try and work it out. Somebody will teach you how to tune the guitar.
So that's how you started. You
Even now?
with your ears, actually.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
that's
I mean, it's
that's
funny
a
we
lot.
talk about this because 2 years ago I wrote a symphony for an orchestra, the Manchester Camerata Orchestra. I wrote a whole symphony. I still can't read or write music, and but because of my ears, I remember, and a melody comes to me, and I show people this or record it. And absolutely can't.
So you don't have any kind of
No.
traditional way,
No education,
theory,
only
education,
experience.
Only experience, only playing the guitar and expressing
Playing,
yourself.
yeah.
That's quite nice.
Different kinds of music.
Yeah, because what I'm trying to show with those interviews, when I'm asking people, I'm not only asking people who are on stage or something. Sometimes it's just guys
Right.
who are like playing at home.
Yeah.
But it's the paths you can when you 7 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old, and you're thinking, oh, guitar will be my life. The paths which you can go to, so you can become luthier, servicant, guitarist, session guitarist, composer for
Yeah, but the thing is, I'll say one thing. I didn't choose music.
music chose you.
It chose me. I was 20 odd years old, so I was studying to be a doctor. I wanted to be a doctor, so I've done my all levels, A levels. Medicine. So I was doing sciences, but at that time, I was actually playing basketball. To tell you the truth, I didn't want to go to uni. I thought, I'm not sure I want to do this now. But then I got a phone call from Simply Red in 1987. I was 21, 2 years old, something I can't remember. And they offered me the job as guitarist in the band on a world tour. So it chose me, and I just was like, I should embrace this
How did that happen?
opportunity, this
Did you
destiny.
play in any local
So-
bands? Did you work?
Oh, loads.
Lots of this. So they found
10
out.
years in reggae bands.
Okay.
10 years in reggae music. I was playing quite a few bands, even like in jungle and drum and bass and things like Rebel MC in London, and I was Hot Chocolate Asia before then.
So you wasn't so before Simply Red you were in Asia. So
Sorry, that was after.
After.
I forget how many decades have passed. No, I wasn't in any of these bands actually. I was just playing in local bands for fun. And then
So how did they find out about you?
I've got to tell you actually, this is a part of the story. I learned to play guitar. I accelerated my learning from the library. The library used to have cassettes you could borrow and vinyl that you could borrow.
This is something young people don't understand what we're talking about.
So I went to the library, I would take the music home and I'd learn the tune, and then I'd take the music back and then I'd bring a different band. In those days I was learning like Deep Purple, or I was learning Santana and Jeff Beck or something, anything that I could learn from. And I'd take the music home and I'd learn it, and then it was borrowed, you have to give it back. So the library actually taught me how to be a rock and roll musician. Strange, eh?
And you found your wife in the library as well.
Well, we won't go there.
What was it from the local bands, trying to be better, trying to get like career, but working still. That's how local bands life looks like. You're going to work and guitar is your hobby. You're paying money to pay concerts. You're not getting money out of the.
I don't care.
But how was it when you jumped into Simply Red? You say like world tour, the huge, well-known band.
Lots of money.
But not the money, the feeling.
No, there was lots of money. That's a change. The feeling is the feeling of coming from a poor area, from a council estate, and the next minute you're stood on a stage in a stadium filled with 150,000 people.
That's what I mean.
São Paulo or Rio de Janeiro, with all these beautiful faces looking at you, screaming, and all you think about is phoning all your friends in your neighbourhood and showing them, hey, look where I am. Well, in those days we didn't have the technology to be able to stream, or you had a camera.
Did you go a little bit crazy back then?
No, I'm
all this.
maybe crazy in some ways. I kind of, those rock and roll band. Women are attracted to people in bands, as ugly as you might be. You still, and you all of a sudden, wow, you've got money.
Do you remember any of like a Spinal
women.
Tap moment in your life? Did you have, what I mean?
There's lots of those. Lots of those. They'll all be in the book.
What, you're writing a book?
Maybe.
Okay.
I just say that to make people worry. In case I tell the truth. There's been a few moments. I mean, but some are just simple things, like when I joined Simply Red. I remember Mick Hucknall, so I was a new guitarist, and all the band turned up for rehearsal, and then he came in the room a little bit later, and with his red hair flowing, he comes in and he goes, hey Aziz, hi, how are you doing? And he goes, do you like curry? I was like, I'm Indian. You're asking an Indian whether he likes curry. It's like asking someone from Poland, do you like
vodka?
Well,
I don't like vodka.
Say vodka. I was going to say the dish, the
pierogi, for example.
Pierogi, yeah. Like, you'd like look at them really strange. Like, I'm Indian. I'm Pakistani, actually. But I say, well, my roots are Indian. Obviously, my father born in India. I was like, of course I like curry. It's like, some little moments like that, which have been a bit strange. Other times, it's too long a story, maybe. I'll tell you quickly. So one time I was in Asia, and Jeffrey Downs, who's the keyboard player, he said to me that we were rehearsing in London, recording in London on the album Asia Arena, and he said, don't worry about hotels, we've got a place for you to stay. You're going to stay at my friend's flat. So great, because my girl was coming from Manchester and Bolton that time, and she dresses full cover and everything, and she comes to London. We turn up, they put us in a taxi, they take us to a brothel in Soho
with your girlfriend,
with this girl, Muslim girl, and me, a good Muslim boy, and we walk in the building, and it goes up a spiral staircase, and each door on the spiral stair says Black Nubian Princess 36 double D, and the next one Swedish Blonde. And I get to the top room, and it's a room with one bed, all these naughty pictures on the walls. And she looks at me and kind of says, you wait until I tell my mother and my brothers.
Did they kill you after that?
Strange how you can end up in a brothel
with a Muslim girl covered with yeah. Going back to guitar, you said the first guitar you had was like acoustic 5 pound, but then when
I joined the Stone Roses, I literally inherited a 1959 Gibson Les Paul, a 1959 ES345 Gibson, a 1959 Fender Strat, a 1962 Fender Strat, a 1964 Gibson Hummingbird acoustic, same thing, amplifiers, Fenders, Marshalls, Voxes, everything that a guitarist would dream of.
So you went crazy, but you went crazy in a good way.
I inherited them.
Okay.
They belonged to the band when I joined the Stone Roses.
All right.
1996. They gave me all these things. Not to own, because the band owned them. But
still to use them to
and I was carrying this 1959 Gibson Les Paul in a broken old Gibson case. I didn't even know the value, and I was carrying it around. Could have got mugged anyway. This old case with a 59 Les Paul in it.
But what was your first proper guitar?
Richie Blackmore's got it. Not Richie Blackmore. Richie Sambora, I think he's got.
Well,
we sold it.
Really?
Well, the band sold it. I think Ian sold it.
Okay.
Tax bill. Something we had to let go, and he went to a shop in London, Guitar Emporium. I think they sold it on to Richie Sambora.
That's a nice story. But what was your first proper guitar then? You remember?
Oh, I mean, that £5 guitar will always be a proper guitar to me.
Really?
Acoustic, but okay. I mean, the guitars.
Electric one.
Didn't have much money, but when we first, my brother plays as well. So when we bought the first electric guitars, it was like £25, and they were like K guitars. K.
Yeah. They sell now for 300.
Yeah, Stingray, maybe Rapier, that kind of, cheap guitars. And then I had an Antoria. I think my first decent guitar was an Antoria Les Paul in cream white with a maple neck.
Ibanez Les Paul, yeah. Antoria, Ibanez.
Yeah, so the Ibanez, I mean, I was endorsed by Ibanez in the 90s. So they actually sent me one of the first 7 strings. And it wasn't a Steve Vai guitar. The Universe came afterwards. This was a prototype that Ibanez had done on a Sabre, Ibanez Sabre, and it was a 7-string. And if anybody's seen me playing with Hot Chocolate or with Errol Brown, you'll see this 7-string Sabre, not going kong kong, but playing, you sexy thing, everyone's a winner, baby. And all.
Did you use the 7-string as well?
Yeah.
Did you use it?
Yeah, I did. I went through a metal phase, and I was kind of, I was into all the playing.
So you can actually cover many genres of music from
genres, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love music. I love world. Well, they call it world music, but I love music from different countries. I really like instruments from different countries, and that's my inspiration. That one minute I'm listening to koto from Japan, and the next minute sitar from India, or tumbi, or hurdy-gurdy kind of things, or anything that inspires a new sound.
You're using sitar, electric sitar. You're using at the moment with your
Coral sitar,
project.
but I'm also using a fretless 11-string that Godin make called a glissenta, which is nylon strings, like an oud.
And for years you were playing on acrylic guitar.
Yeah.
Greenish fluorescent.
It's called Legend.
Legend, yeah. Trev Wilkinson, hello.
I think it was Aria with a distributor.
But you used to play on this guitar, then you lost.
It was green.
Then you lost it.
I call it the green Manalishi.
Then you lost it, and then you got it back. Is it? No? Because I thought that's
the only
story.
guitar that happened with was a Steinberger. So I had one of the first M-series Steinbergers with a trans trem on it in white, and I went to Ned Steinberger in New York State. I actually drove through this storm, and there was like big, what do you call them, not reindeer, but it was big moose things jumping across, like in the video with Dave Grohl and
Queens of the Stone Age.
Queens of the Stone Age. And it was a bit like that, and I got to the factory, I played in front of him, and he gave me one of these M-series guitars. I left it on the roof of my car, because it's so small. I put it in the bag, put it on the roof, I packed my stuff in the car, got in the car, drove off, and the guitar flew off the bat. I didn't even know.
And when you came back,
somebody gave it back. Oh no, how I'd lost it was before then. That's how I lost it. And before then, it got stolen from a house we were rehearsing in. But my band, you don't want to mess with them. They saw some guys in the street, and we didn't know whether they stole it or not. But we grabbed them, and we threatened to kill. We threatened to kill them and burn the houses. To take us to your house. We went to the house, and they were going to burn your house to the floor. and going to kill all your family and everything that we weren't going to do. If that guitar doesn't come back, and it came back. There was a phone call. We gave them a number. There was a phone call, and. They said they dropped it off, so they dropped it off. That's how I got it back.
But then you lost it anyway.
Then I lost it
so it wasn't
time.
For you then. And when you lost it, you never got it back.
It probably wasn't. It had EMGs on it. And my sound is passive pickups, definitely.
Passive pickups, low output rather.
Low output, character. I like the character to come through. I do like EMGs, I like powerful pickups. I tried ESP guitars for a while. I love those camo finished ones. Viper.
Urban Camo Viper.
The Viper is the model. I love the Viper, the SG style.
Like SG style, yeah.
SG, yeah. I bought one of those.
I don't see you with
I bought myself I bought myself a crank stack.
Fuck me.
I got the 4x12 cabinet from Dimebag Darrell's cabinet with the Revolution head. So I did a combination of the.
That's surprising,
stock,
actually.
And then with the ESP camo. I'll post a picture. I'll send you one.
Where's your hair then?
Yeah, the Rev head is great. I mean, I like the Dimebag head as well, but I prefer the Rev head.
Well, you're playing Rev now.
No, not the Rev, R-E-V. I mean the Revolution.
Revolution,
Yeah, it was by
right.
Crank. And I really liked it because it was like the same sound, 2 levels. That's what I really like. Love the sound for the rhythm, the kong kong, and then for the solos, just up the level of it. That's
What are you playing now? What's your main gear now?
Main gear.
Yeah, when you go
Always changing.
Always changing.
Yeah,
Well, you got the whole collection. You got the whole collection of
I
guitars.
play Golden guitars mostly, with Line 6 Variacs. Combination of the 2 things, and then for the electrics, Les Paul. I got a Les Paul Custom, which is really beautiful sounding, and I don't know how old it is actually. Maybe not that old, 80s maybe. Like that. Les Paul Custom, Fender Strat, 70s style, large headstock.
Beautiful, Richie Blackmore.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. I realise why he does what he does, because I have the same issue that I don't use the middle pickup. I don't like the out of phase in between sounds. I only use the neck, I use the bridge, or maybe the combination, I don't know. And I've done away with the volume. I only have 1 volume, 1 tone on a cream white Hendrix style Strat. And I use a Jazzmaster. Oh,
So quite classic.
Classic guitars,
Classic
and then I use a
guitars.
range. One of the main guitars I use are Airline. So
Okay, it's like Jack White, yeah.
not that shape. No, I don't like that shape. Mine are. It's called a Tuxedo. So it's black and white. It's almost like a Les Paul, but it's hollow. I really like that model, and I think I saw Beck using one, or his guitarist, and the guy who works with him. And then I've got another one, which is a Jupiter S, it's called. I like quite trashy kind of
Yeah,
guitars.
that's what I was to say. That actually
quite
they are not.
Character. I
Yeah,
like the
we got character, but they're not
Yeah.
easy to play.
And I Gretsch. I use a Gretsch, like a duo jet, but it's called a Pearl Jet, and it has a Bigsby on it, because I like the Bigsby sound. Anything that's different, you know. The Ibanez's I had were all Floyd Rose, or Ibanez's Edge.
Yeah, but that's like a combination.
Which I still
of-
got. You know, my main Ibanez that I still use is the Gem that I have. I've got an old
you got lots of guitars.
Desert Yellow.
How many guitars do you have?
Not that many. About 50.
So same like me.
Yeah. Like you. I copied you.
Wow, I didn't
But I use
realize.
a Gem, a Desert Yellow Gem with a Tree of Life inlay on it. But I drilled in the back and I stuck a spin strap on it. So it's like ZZ Top now. You spin the guitar.
Oh shit, that's so cheesy.
That's me, Mr. Cheese. Aziz, Mr. Cheese.
All right, the last question is
Yes.
it's not connected with guitars at all. It's connected with what we can hear there. What are you driving?
What am I driving?
Yeah.
I drive a musical Beetle.
Musical Beetle,
It's a Volkswagen Beetle.
but the old one.
The sound system in it is Fender.
But is it like the old one?
No,
or
no,
one
it's a
of
new
those
Beetle.
New Beetle, yeah.
But they launched a musical one where they put the whole sound system in it is Fender, so all the badges are all Fender logos.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Limited edition, nice.
Yeah, and it has mood lighting. You can have red, you can have blue.
Inside.
White, yeah.
Okay, so
set the mood.
that's the pussy wagon then.
You said that, not me. But I drive a Beetle. I mean, prior to that, when I was married, I had a very rich wife. Well, you know, it's rock and roll lifestyle. But anyway, she was really wealthy. She used to buy me Porsches every year, Range Rovers, you know, powerful cars, V8s and things like the Audi S5 and the Porsches were Carrera 4Ss. But they're not me. I like the Beetle. I like something that's not threatening.
So in all this
Not,
stuff, you know, you went through the whole history of the rock and roll. You were in every single
Without
places.
drinking and no drugs.
That's what I mean. You quite, I don't know that, but that's what you're saying. But you seem to be quite.
You don't believe me? Oh, okay.
I need to believe you, but you know, I don't know if people will believe you. But rock and roll is rock and roll.
It is.
It's not only rock and roll, but you are quite modest, quiet person.
Well, you know,
Even looking at your car, you know, you said you didn't like the car.
I like the Beetle because it's there's no anonymity. Not anonymity. Nobody finds the Beetle threatening. You know, nobody wants to race me on the motorway. I was fed up with that life, you know. And friends, you don't know who your friends are. When you show off and you got money and you got big cars and all this,
everybody wants to be your friend,
but they're not really your friends. So I did the reverse psychology, that if I drive a non-threatening car, and a car which is quite humble in its ways. I mean, it was a new car, but it wasn't a big engine, 1.4 and things, and the colour and everything. Nobody looks at me and goes, "Hey, he's got loads of money" or anything. I just, you know, I like that. And then also, it's about my roots come from poor Indian, Pakistani family backgrounds. So, you know, they worked hard and got us in, you know, education, so forth, and that grounding is always there. That the country I come from, the culture I come from, like in so many countries, parents work so hard to give their children a chance, and it was always in the back of my head as I was, every band I was in, it was always about, will I make enough money to feed, you know, share with my family, and get a house or something, or a roof over my head. My dad always said, you know, get a roof over your head,
respect, man,
that you own. And it's as simple as that, you know. I never, even when I've been sat there, you know, in nightclubs in Tokyo or something, I've had a woman sat on one lap and a woman sat on the other lap. I'm like, and they're trying to pour champagne down my throat. I'm like, no, I don't drink. Get off. No, come back.
Respect.
Come back. But you know, you got to decide yourself in life that you live how you want to live, not the way people expect you to live. And that's all I did. I just decided I'm comfortable in the things of my culture and my faith that I believe that I don't need to, you know, I don't need to wear it on my sleeve, you know, like an armband. But as long as you're happy in yourself.
Good stuff. Really important things at the end. Listen to this guy, he's clever. Thanks a lot, man.
No.
Cheers.
Nice, thank you very much. Bye.